Howdy lovelies, how are you all doing? Welcome back to our crafting, where we learn, grow and craft together. In part 3 of our new journal, the Christmas aka Santa Claus journal, still haven't decided on a name for the series, we are going to make the cover, and if time permits, let's sew in the signatures so that we can then add ephemera, maybe make a little bit more in the next part. So this is, like I said from the start, a very short one, as I am swamped at this point in time, all to my own doing, but I feel a bit overwhelmed. Anyway, let's dive right into making this cover. I'm going to use packaging material from Amazon. You can recognize that arrow. So I just took off all the identifying stuff, and we're going to slice this open. So decide on a side. You can open it there if you want to, but it's still thick. So let's see. We have that, and then this part that we can actually just slice down. Try not to ever cut towards you, if at all possible. Just make sure you move out of the way to minimize injury. These things are exceptionally sharp. So we've got that. We need to have a spine. We look at our signatures. This is just too small, but that part is fine. But will it be okay if we have a spine? No, it's not going to be, so we will have to use part of this. I'm going to trim that off and that part, and then we will get started on making the cover. Oh, I almost threw away some of the ephemera pieces. Hopefully we can sew this in, but it's not truly sewing. Sorry, I just bumped the camera. Oh my goodness, that haven't happened in some time. I got used to the camera being here in front of me, so sorry for that. It's with this oversize. You could have used a craft knife to cut this, but I just used a pair of scissors. Now for this, you see here, it will fit, but we need a spine. And because we need the spine, I decided, let's do it this way. We already have that, so we'll just adjust it somehow to just be a little bit wider. If we include it like that, it is only a 1.5 inch from there to there, and I need it a bit wider, 2.5 inches. 2.5 inches will be perfect. So it's 1.5 already. So what I'll do is I'll just do an extra 1/2 inch on either side, and I'm going to use a pen so I can see what I'm doing. And let me just adjust the lighting a bit. So I'm going to do 1/2 inch from that side, and from this side also 1/2 inch. Together it will give us 1 inch. We will then fold it there. So from there it should be 1.5 inches. So it just helps. Is it true? Oh dear me, now I'm getting confused. That's 1 and 2. Okay, let's do the same measurement then. I'll do the one side, just so that I have enough space to get everything done. And then from here, I'll do the same measurement. And I'm truly getting confused with this now. I had it right, but I doubted myself somehow. And that one, 1 and 2. It's so you can draw a line if you want to, just to help you with the visual. It will be covered anyway. So that will be our spine. Now the height of this, I will just have to trim this at the bottom as well. And for that, I'll be using my box cutter, and I'll cut it there. That way, I know it is the right width equally, and we can open it up and trim this side. Now, some of the paper like that one is a bit higher, so I thought as much. So that is perfect. What I'll do is fold this over, line this up, and then I'll trim it from there to there, which is up to where I have marked it. This is all lined up, which means we can then cut it, and then we will just slice this part as well. So let's trim that. It did not cut right through, which is sad. I thought it did. Alright, we've got it through now. That will be the new spine, so we will fold it and just reinforce this part. But now we need to get this to there. If we open this up, we'll probably add that about there in half. So we look at this. It is supposed to, sorry, I had it on centimeters, 2.5 inches now. So 2.5 gives us 1 1/3, which is there. Now half of that to get your signatures in. I'm going to punch 4 holes because I decided not to sew it in this time. We have done the wrap around method before. We had done the open spine with the safari journal. We've done the accordion fold, which was in the steampunk journal, and in the mushroom journal we had the sewn in parts, or also wrap around. I can't remember now. It was also sewn in. For this one, I want to use some ribbon just to do a different way of binding it. So to get this in the middle, I need to measure this length. So let me just fold it this way. This is 9 inches, so half of it would obviously be 4.5. Now this is for me a visual to know half of it. I'm going to move this up to 6.5 on this side, which means it's 2 inches down. So there's 1 inch and another inch. Let me just get my bearings together. So I'm going to punch holes there, and for me to do this on both sides, it will be easy. So half of that, this is the new spine there, so I will do it in a straight line, more or less there, just so I can position it. So where will I punch the holes? There and there. So I'm going to use my hole punch, and I'm going to use the standard size. And why am I doing that now? So I can see it, I guess. And then we'll cover this, and we have to just then repunch it, just so that we can add the eyelets. And I'm just putting the eyelets in so that this is reinforced and it cannot go out easily. So don't back the hole punch too far away because we will need it yet again. So there we have it, and that is what we will use to bind our journal with. The length of this, we need to now cut this down. So seeing that we know where this is going to be, we can line this up. You can see there's some space there, and I'm going to just make sure that more or less, and I'll see if that is straight once I line it up. It's half about that, half to the top half there. There we go. So now we can trim it down and just keep it there to slice that one down as well. This, we will be reinforcing this in a second, and then we have to redo all of this. Now, this can be in the middle, can be outside, it doesn't matter. You can paint this, you can do a collage on it. It is truly up to you what you want to do with the cover. Final part is to have the eyelets in, and we will be covering this with paper. I want a band in the middle. I will be using the micropore again just to reinforce this part, and maybe add a bit of cardstock on the inside just to make sure that this is a little bit more sturdy. This is not very strong, but it's then again not a very thick journal, so it should all be fine in the end. So for the spine, I'm adding the micropore. You've seen me use it before. I'll just put it on there. We can trim it down, just stretch it a tiny little bit so that it can adhere nicely. Yes, we call this first aid for journals. Not that anything has gone wrong, so it's probably more preventative than anything else. So it's preventative medicine. Never thought that preventative medicine will be applied in journaling. You didn't know? Now you know. Now you know. So that one, and then just wanting to trim this. Could have folded it over. So now we're going to do the same thing on this side. You can still see the holes. And if it's not too clear, I'll show you a way to show you where to repunch it. Do the same thing there. You could have reinforced it with cardstock first, and then add that. Yes, there's a bit of a wrinkle in there now, but luckily this can go flat easily. All right, so you can see that you can still see the holes. I am just going to repunch that before we do anything. So I'll fold that again, and the same way we've done it previously, just line it up so you can see that, punch that, and just have to open that again. Otherwise, you can't really see what you're doing. And there we go. We will use it shortly again. I'm going to take my bone folder and just burnish this so that we know this is attached well. Both sides should be fine. Oh, there's some black ink on my table, obviously. I wonder where that is. Anything is possible at this point in time. So we can decide what we want. I want a piece of paper to cover this, and I want paper there. Obviously also have to cover up the inside as well. Now, I can't go too bright because this is a vintage journal, but what we can do is we can add some paper, and I'm thinking, what do I want? Let me see. I've got a bit here. We used that part the other day. Let me see, what do I have here? I'm wondering if I want to collage quickly. That will now be a thing. If I now want to collage, I need 2 pages for there, 2 for the inside, and I need 1 for the spine. So that's kind of a lot of paper at this point. I don't have anything big enough to cover the whole journal. If I collage on this, it will make it a whole lot sturdier, but it will be a whole lot more time consuming. Though, it will really be very pretty. I kind of like that idea, but then I want to stitch it and I can't stitch it. I can't get to my sewing machine at this point. I'm just wondering. Let me think quickly. So I decided on these papers. This will be on the inside. Big difference from printing than photocopying, but it will work. I will just put a bit of, I think, antique linen or something over it. And the same with this one. So instead of using that one, I will just use those 2. So difference in printing those than to photocopy. Sadly, these don't fit properly. There's some space. Maybe we can manage it like this if I trim it down and glue it down like that. So I'm going to just trim these white parts off and start with the outside cover first. I want the green on the outside, and as I'm busy getting this done, I have an idea what I want to do on the cover. Now this is part of that. I know I can't just put the 2 on top of each other. It will probably cut skew if I try to find a shortcut and cut it off like this. There we go. So that's trimmed. I now just want to grab the red for the inside when I try that. Is it even? Let me just check. It looks the same, so let's see. It looks a bit skew. So I'm going to trim it and see what it looks like. Yeah, it can work. We will probably not use all of that. Let's get this cover going. So, we need to glue this down now on the cover. So I'll just move the red out of the way for a moment, and we will start with the green. Now, if I attach it like that, I just want to get the signatures out of the way. If we glue it down like this, we will still have that part. We can move this up a tiny bit, and then, this can work. This can work, and then we can fold it over. This can truly work. So maybe, just maybe, I'll just move this together, and then I'll put glue. Maybe turn that over and see if that makes a better fit. I'm sorry that you can't see the end at the bottom here, the complete end, but you see quite a bit of this. And I think I need to just check if you can see the black fruit. It's not really, so it's fine. It doesn't matter which part is inside or out. It will be able to fold it any which way we need. So let's start. I'm using glue stick because I don't want any wrinkles in my paper. As if you sometimes use too much liquid glue, it wrinkles the paper. And we have that part glued down. Going to flip this over, put glue, line that up, and then we will glue this down. And we will anyway cover the part by the spine with a different color. Adding the paper both sides will also help to reinforce this. And yes, I will be punching the holes first again, as we need to see where to put the eyelets. Oh, look at that now, moving about. Bond folder, put it in the little card, anything, just to garnish that, make sure that it goes down well. We're going to fold this in. That's a bit longer. I should have just made sure it's not a train smash. Fold this in, and that. The same with this side. Yeah, I almost got it now the wrong way. Just a T. Just to get some of that bulk away. And we'll do the same thing on this side. Other side, and then we'll do the bottoms, or the side here. And there we have that. That's done. Just want to put glue in the middle, fold it in, and it's a neat fold. Before we cover this, we need to just re-punch those holes. I know it sounds a bit excessive, but we have to. Otherwise, we need to fumble to get the eyelets in later. I poke it talky. We will have to, once the inside is covered, re-punch the holes. So now, to get this covered, what we now need to do is use the red. I chose this. I want to put that on the outside. Can you see what happened here? As I folded it, that came undone because it was still gluing down. I'll just reapply a bit of glue. And lift this part a bit, reapply the glue there. So now I need to trim this too. I actually forgot that I wanted to use this strip. Should have done that just before I re-punch the holes for the third time, because now I have to do it yet again. There we have that. So a strip. I don't want it too wide, but it needs to cover that. That is just too short in the length of this. So I want it about, let's put it there, about 8 centimeters. So that helps. Let's do it this way. because then I can just cut it across, and it should be easy to actually cut it. Measure it like that, line it up nicely. I mean to say not measure it. So that will be the length of this to there, and now it's easy to cut that. Wonderful. And I'm going to add glue. Be careful not to put glue all over the cover now. Which I think, oh, it's that is sticky. Use the grid lines to help you get this lined up. And there we have that. Bone folder to activate that. Turn this over. We'll fix the glue that's there. And this can just help to reinforce. So a bit of glue again. Fold it over. This will be anyway covered. Notice there's a bit there, but I do know that this is wider than that, so I'm not worried. I measured it in the middle from there, so it's sort of the same. It's just the microboard that is on skew. There we have that. I think it's a pretty little thing. Only thing, I covered where we should have scored for the spine. So we need to redo this. And I'm going to score before I glue down the stuff. I'm going to do this on the other side as well. So 1.5 from there. There, or 1 and 2, 1 1/4 inch. Then I'm going to draw the line straight through, but we need to score it. So before attaching the paper in the middle, just going to score so we know where to refold the spine. I hope I've done it right now. It's not the time to doubt yourself now, but I should have probably checked before I folded it now. So now to cut, let me just check the signature. It will be in there, like that. And now I find that it is too small. How in the world is that possible? Or maybe not. Or maybe it is. How did I measure that now? It is what it is. It's a bit late. I'm not going to change at this point. So now we need to add this. It's just too small because we have that. So we will have to cut and add it like this. Maybe overlap, cut it a bit shorter, and then just have that part. Okay, many ways to do this in. So to measure the paper, I'm just going to draw a line across there, hold it together, and hold it together, and then I lift it up. So many things going haywire. Like I always say, let's embrace the imperfections. And I'm going to cut that. I hope I measure correctly now. Otherwise, I have to copy the paper again or print it. But I don't want to go get my laptop right now. This can easily be turned into a little booklet of some sort. Now, before I forget, I can either just punch a hole through because we are going to punch the hole still. I will put eyelets in. Trying to find the place. Let's do that. And then just poke it through like that. That's the easy way. And how neat are those? Without a punch even. Just with a pencil. So now we know where the holes are. And we can attach this on there. Like so. bone folder to burnish. Make sure it adheres well. There's now a bit of glue. Just erase it while it's still wet. Then it should be fine. Now glue on the other side. We just have to keep this for a little bit. Maybe we can poke the hole through again, as this is the cover, and we will attach the eyelets through there. I'll just close the glue for a moment and get my eyelets. Seeing that the Crop-a-dile won't be able to go in from that side to add our eyelets, I'll just pop them in and we'll go the old school way. I'm using some red ones, maybe a bit too bright for this, but it will be almost covered it just to reinforce the hole. I'll turn this over. Got that little thing, so I'm going to just use that little tool which I have, and I'll do this off camera, so I'll be tapping on that to open it up and actually get it to set. So to save your ears, I'll just do this off camera. There we go, that was done with a little thingy. Eyelets are in, no hassles. And I must say, this little tool set of mine is already almost 20 years old. It will be 20 years next year, June. So it has served me a long time. I still use it, as you can see. Still have all the parts except the needles that came with the set. So there is our cover. This just needs a moment more to dry properly, the glue, and then we can fold this on the new fold, which is there. This one is going to bother me. It's going to consistently in there, but we will get this sorted. Now this looks as if it's lifting up, so I'm going to just give it a tiny bit of liquid glue there, just to make sure it can go in. And a little dry baby wipe as I left my packet open. And we'll do the same thing on the other side, just to check and see if it is okay. I think this side is fine. It's just the side that opened up a bit. But there we go. And fold this. And maybe if we fold it, then we will see it's not so wonderfully glued down as I thought it was to begin with. And the same thing. Just run the dry baby wipe over, just to make sure. And there's a bit to do. Always needs a bit of TLC. Alright, so we've got that. I still cannot believe that this is no longer fitting in properly. I'm just going to trim a bit off there. We don't need glue anymore, so I'm just going to trim this off. Not needed, but seeing that we discovered that the journal signatures are wider than the cover, or maybe not, I don't know. I don't know how I looked earlier. Was it just this one that did it? I'll just trim that one as well, just a tiny little bit. What else is there? I'll just take this out and just trim this one little bitty. Not too much. I don't know why it's not lining up, but I notice it's not straight. That's better. Now I can have that trimmed. Awesome. It did come from the middle, right? And I am no longer sure. Like, really, I'm no longer sure. But there we have it. I think that should be okay. Yeah. Maybe no. So what we now need to do is to get the ribbon, and we're going to tie this in with red organza ribbon. So I cut a strip of ribbon and I'm just threading that through, bring it around. We'll do it with a second signature as well. Oh, and this now don't want to go through. I'll just make another loop and then we'll pull this in real tight. Maybe just pull that a little bit more. And tying this into a bow on the outside. And we're going to make a double knot in this bow so that it cannot go loose. Now, for the second one, we're doing exactly the same thing. It seems to seem a bit loose now. Same thing, exact same thing. And I should have just cut 2 pieces from the start, twice the length of that, plus a bit to tie a ribbon. So we open this up, make sure you've got all the little pieces. Just bundle the edge up so that you can push it through the little eyelet and pull on the other side, which I just seem to miss the whole time. And then this one, bring it around and in the same manner push it through the hole, and then bring it around so that it is tight. Hold onto it. With this, it always helps to have a third or a second pair of hands or a third hand to help. Just a little bit. And tie the second knot. You can, if you want to, then go ahead and trim your ribbon a bit. And there you have it. Now, to finish off the front, we are going to add one of our postcard-like things. And that's where we will stop for tonight. I'll see, I want one of these ones. Kind of like that one too. Let's see, that or that. I think I'll stick with that one. And then we will do the ephemera, last bits of the ephemera in the last part, and we will call it a day with this journal. Now for this, I just want to get a bit of vintage paper on the background so that, or maybe not. I'll just adhere it like this. And then there's one last step to decorate this part. I'll clean that in a second or so. There is our journal. We will now be able to add our things. Moving, this might be a bit tight. And the same with this one. Just need to move that to the bottom part, and there we have it. Our journal is done so far. That keeps falling off now, and we can just go ahead, put the final touch on here, and add the ephemera pieces. Thank you for joining me. Go work on your journal. It's not so difficult. This part is not very, very difficult. I do, however, want to just trim a bit of this ribbon off, and also from that side, just add an angle so that it's not so long, because that looks a bit scruffy if it is that long, but a bit of festivity with a red ribbon. And there is our very quick journal. Not a lot of effort going into it, lots of space for photos and journaling, lots of surprises when you don't expect something. You will have that. We will be adding some of the little bitties of things. There's still a lot of work to do in this, but go and get your signatures together. We are this far with the journal. Like I said, Thanks for joining me. Please go try working on your journal. See what you can come up with. Look around the house what there is to add. You will be surprised at how much you actually find to add to a journal. If you want to see more content like this, give me a thumbs up. And as always, I'll appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel too. If you haven't done so yet, please hit that notification bell so that you can be notified whenever I upload new content. See you back for part 4. Goodbye.